starting to get a recurring theme on my videos here lately. I've been on the kick of looking at knives. I just did a review on one of those the other day. It probably came out right before this video. But on the event that I do take a fixed blade knife, because sometimes I want to take something, I still try to keep it nice and light. And I have habitually been carrying like these little Mora companion knives. One, it's not a full tang knife, and that's the biggest downfall I have to them. You don't have that kind of crisp 90-degree spine on the back of it that you'd need for a ferro rod. So I was looking for an alternative to this and started going out online and looking at different knives and stumbled on one I wanted to try and figured I'd take you guys along with me. This would be the BPS BF1FT. It's a lot of letters, but I've had other BPS knives in the past. They've always been bigger. I really like the footprint of this one. I think the whole knife comes in at right around 7 inches with the cutting surface being just under 4 inches. So let's jump in and check it out and see if this is a good fit for you. So just looking at over here, they're currently selling on their website for $29 to $33 depending on the options. Options you get with this is really just the selection between the stainless steel or the carbon. You can get some custom engraving and stuff done, and they'll throw a little lanyard on there for you if you want. And then it looks like the sheath only comes in a right-handed option. Some of the other knives have got a left-handed option as well. But when it comes to you, it'll come in just this little cardboard box here. Like I said, I have one other knife of theirs that I've had for years that I have really liked, but I liked the small footprint of this one. This is just a little barcode piece for their knives, I guess, to get into their marketplace. Nice little tight leather sheath here. You guys can see it's not a huge sheath. Small knife. This is the full tang that I was looking for, and this is the one in stainless. I like the wooden handles as opposed to, the Mora knife. These are really easy to hold on to when it's wet and stuff. It's kind of tacky and grippy, but I always worry about the non-full tang. But this one, the one I had before, I really liked, and yeah, that's what I was looking for right there. That's a good little size. It doesn't weigh a whole lot. They list it as coming in weight with the sheath at 120 grams, so it's just over 4 ounces for the entire thing. Nice little crisp 90-degree spine. We'll try to throw that on a ferro rod here and try it out in just a little bit. Knife is pretty darn sharp on the back. I like the look and feel of the knife. I do like the handles, and this is kind of what I was looking for. Kind of a small platform knife, full tang. I was really looking for stainless because I like the ease of maintaining it, and quite honestly, I just sort of liked the character of the wood handles. So let's go out there and do a little carving with this and see how it holds up and see how it goes. Let's fit it into the sheath real fast just to see how this fits out. Okay, so if you're going to be inclined to push it in like this and just have it seat, and the blade ends right there. You actually, I think, based on the pictures, you open it up like this and kind of push it down in there, and that actually then fills the entire sheath. And it is just a drop loop on here, which I like. This way the knife will hang pretty low on my hip, which is preferred. It doesn't cut into my jelly rolls at that point. We will go through, and I'll probably do a second video on wet forming this sheath here to kind of get it to fit nice and snug in there. So I want to do that with this because right now it's pretty snug going in and out. Yeah, let's go take this outside and play around with it. All right, it is all of a sudden really windy outside. Hopefully the quality of this isn't too terribly bad here. Well, since I started out comparing this knife to the Mora knife, I figured I'd go out here and just kind of let's try both of them out at the same time. You can see profile wise, this BPS is actually a little bit smaller than that, which is nice. Probably about 1 inch, give or take. It still fits into the hand nicely. Flowers blowing all over the place out here. We have a little hurricane front coming in here off the coast of Texas, so as the wind's finally picking up, maybe it'll get cooler weather tomorrow. All right, let's try these things out. So we did a little yard work this weekend. Dug some stuff up. cut down a few trees, so I figured I'd take a limb from it. Pretty comparably sized. No trouble carving whatsoever. Now it is a little aggressive on the back because of that 90-degree spine. So you do definitely can tell that these aren't rounded off. So there's kind of a pro and con with that. Well, it actually cuts pretty darn nicely. That BPS knife is really kind of getting the job done. It's jumping right on in there and making some nice deep cuts. Didn't take a whole lot to get through this. Making some nice thin curls on here. The blade thickness it's just big enough that it feels substantial in your hand, but it's still thin enough that it's very workable for small stuff. That's not bad at all. Let's try the same thing with this Mora here. Just back up a little bit and try to do the same thing here. So exactly what I expected with the Mora. It's a little bit sharper right out the box. I haven't had this one very long. I just bought it a while back. I needed another. These things are so cheap. These things are so cheap that they're almost like a disposable knife. I mean, it definitely gets the job done in here. So this knife being about $15 and this BPS one being about $30. Let's go through. This is where I definitely would not do with the Mora up here. This is what I'm kind of curious about. I would at least have a little more trust in a full tang knife. Let's see how it does. And that molded right on through there. Nice clean cut. I don't see any damage to the blade whatsoever. I don't feel any rolling. Now, would I do that with, large wood? Absolutely not, because it's a relatively small knife. It's not that heavy. I'm going to be honest though, that's pretty darn clean. Let's do one or two more. Scheme of things, I think this is going to be a win. Let's ease back inside. All right, so right out of the box, I think this is going to work quite nicely for what I'm looking for. I definitely think it's much closer to what I'm looking for as opposed to those little Moras that I've been running. Yeah, it's a little bit pricier. It's about double the price. But having said that, though, I like the full tang knife on here. I like the full tang construction on it. I feel more secure with that. Fits in the hand better. Quite honestly, I just like the look and feel to it. It has a little bit of character to it. I'm going to go through and do the wet forming on the sheath here so that fits down in there nice and snugly and cleanly without having to kind of force it down in there, because right now you have to kind of stretch it out to get it down in there. But we're going to do that. Now, two things really quickly before you guys get out of here. One, the folks at BPS were kind enough to go through and create a discount code, coupon code, that if you go through and you buy off their website, which I'll link their website below, if you go through and enter Hike-10, it's good for a 10% discount off your purchase. So go out and check that out. There's really nice of them. And for preview of the next video, this is post me doing the wet forming. This worked like a champ, and it is super easy. You guys can see the sheath's in here really nicely now. Doesn't fall out, locks into place. Super simple to do, and that video will be coming out in about a week, so stay tuned. Yeah, I'm actually very optimistic about this little BPS knife, so I'm looking forward to taking it out on the trail with me here. Speaking of the trail, if you guys are out there right now watching this video, just remember as always, left foot, right foot, repeat. We'll see you out there soon. Probably sharpening this.